Good morning to you. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I had to pick this morning to make the sense out of the nonsense this time because, of course, I got stuff to do later on. And sometime I don't get a chance to get with you guys. So, yeah, that's right. I'm going to drop some feelings about what's going on early, and hopefully I'll catch a couple of y'all that can listen. So let me see, first things first. Let me see if notifications have gone out. Yep, there we go. Notifications gone out. I can see myself. Yeah, it says, hi, Kevin. Watch you live from Utah. That's what I'm talking about. From Utah. Good morning, Rick. Yeah. See, there are some people who can catch me in the morning because it's hard to catch me in the evening these days, but I'm going to get back to it. I got to calibrate my sleeping and all of that stuff. This third shift, the vampire hours, it's kind of tricky. Sometimes it's hit and miss. But I want to make sure, first of all, you guys can hear me because I'm using my alternative phone since my other phone, I don't know what's going on with the camera, but it got me stretched out. I look kind of weird. I don't know what's going on. So just make sure you can hear me and you can see me. And I don't want any craziness going on with this microphone. So if it's popping and busting rhymes and beatboxing and stuff, you got to let me know. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, we got a lot to catch up because I ain't seen y'all in about a good week almost. Yeah. Took some time, uploaded a brief video addressing some of President Trump's victories and wins. And boy, are we racking them up. Racking them wins up, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That's how I like it. I like it like that. I don't know about you, but I don't like to lose. I told y'all one time we lost a football game and the coach was walking out the field and the guy said, hey, coach, don't worry about it. You can't win them all. And the coach stopped and said, who says that? Who says that? Who says you can't win them all? If you're not supposed to win them all, tell me the ones we're not supposed to win, and we won't practice that week. We want to win them all, man. We want to win them all. Dang on it. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah. So with that being said, I know that people are going to be shocked to catch me nice and bright and early. But hopefully they can watch it later on once they realize, oh, shoot, Kev was live earlier. Or, you can share and let everybody know that Kev is going live. But before we do that, I might as well go ahead and get loose. What? Just like a real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. That's right, y'all. Some gorillas in here. And don't forget, Kevin's Corner Store is in here. All right, so check it out. And that phone number right there, 330-974-4607. If you text MAGA to that number, you can connect with me just in case I get booted off of these platforms or something like that. And so text MAGA to that number. And also, if you want to support the channel through my Cash App, my PayPal link, you can do that. The links are below each video. You can do that. Or you can just participate in the super chat. It's up to you. All right. Don't know if Dawn's going to be in the chat today because she wasn't expecting me this early. See, I don't know what Dawn do for a living, but, she's been pretty consistent being able to catch my live streams. I don't know. Maybe she might be at the job like, oh, all right, I'm still moderate. But if, she shows up, great. If not, behave. Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, we might as well get into it, y'all, because we've been winning. I don't know about y'all. So let's just see how things are going. While we're winning, the Democrats are whining. They're whining. See, and you would think that they would finally come to the conclusion that, man, Trump is knocking it out the park so much that we can't just say reflexively everything he does is horrible. It's horrible. I don't care what it is. I don't care how great it is, how successful it is. We could never, ever say that, that right there, I do agree with, and it's stupid for them to take that position because it makes it obvious that these folks aren't, interested in what's the best for the people, the betterment of America, because you would think they would still recognize that, man, if the people are saying, I like this, you would think they would say, well, if that's a good thing, we could at least agree to that. But no, not them. Not them. And we're going to see just how these sourpusses are acting, while Trump is winning, along with the media. Somebody said good morning. So I'm expecting people to, log in as time, goes on. Right now, we sitting at, I think, what, 60, 64, something like that. I'm sure people will be like, hey, Kev's live. And see, so maybe we can crack 100. Who knows? But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see what's going on around the country here with all this winning.
This is the opposite of Biden. Biden would take a half a question and he'd leave without answering.
That's so true. Biden would take a half a question and leave without answering. Oh, they told me not to take questions, but I'm going to take one anyway. They told me I could call on Frank. Yes, we have a question about Russia. Oh, no, you know what? I'm not talking about that. And walk off. Walk off. So Trump is entertaining the press. And it even seemed like they were having such a good time that, Trump was joking with him, cutting jokes and stuff like that. They were laughing. Trump's not a bad guy. It's hard to really treat him like that when he's really not like that, unless you absolutely force him. If you are actually around him or you're talking to him one-on-one, it's really hard to keep that persona of, yeah, I hate Trump, he's out there, this and that. Even crying Chuck Schumer, when they had that little gala or whatever where Trump was making jokes and stuff, he was laughing. He was laughing. So a lot of the reactions that they have around Trump and towards Trump is just a show. That's what it is. It's a big fat show. And it's a shame. It's a big shameful show. So let's continue.
What a day for the Donald.
Yeah. I love you. Who are you?
Yeah, man. Look at this.
And he knows that the lower courts cannot carte blanche stop him, which hugely increases the power of the executive.
Yeah, look, this is a great week for him, not just because of this ruling, but earlier in the week, the Supreme Court handed him the ruling on being able to deport illegal immigrants to third-party countries, essentially. So he's on a little bit of a winning streak in the courts right now. And what a lot of Republicans are saying is, nope, we're not tired of winning yet.
No, not me. No, I'm not tired. I'm not tired of, winning. I don't know. What about y'all? I'm going to tell you right now. If I won 100 games, I would be okay with that. I don't want to lose one. I don't be talking about myself, well, I won 101. No, I want 100, period. Okay? Don't want to lose. So, yeah, a lot of Republicans, even some of the Republicans that if they were honest with that they threw a fit when Trump decided to, bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, if they would be honest, I'd like to see them come back out and be like, oops, maybe we jumped the shark here, swearing up and down, oh, he's dragging us into war, he's listening to Netanyahu's controlling him, and this and that. And we're going to have to address that today, too, because that's one of our victories as well. But right now, Scott is giving us a nice introduction to some of the wonderful things that took place this week as Trump came out winning like this. Let's see. Here we go.
This happened. The stock market's at a record high. He brokered the ceasefire in the 12-day war. Peace broke out between Rwanda and the Congo. I mean,
look at this guy. Look at this guy right here that's sucking on a lemon. Watch his face as Scott goes down the list of victories. You can tell he's feeling like an evil parrot in a cage. Boy, I know it hurts. It's like a dagger in his heart. Because, see, they worked so hard to make Trump look bad. And they always step on the rake. It becomes obvious that you fools are wasting your time. I know y'all getting paid to hate. And most likely they actually hate Trump as well outside of just getting paid to hate him. So it's double hate. They hit him with the double hate. But then, when stuff like this happen, now you got to look like a fool. And I'm glad they actually showed his face right there. He got the tight lips. Like,
prices are at a 4-year low for the summer. I mean, win after win after win. And this particular one is the most important because these individual judges have been, I think, unfairly stopping the president from governing. He won the election. They did. We don't have 600 presidents. We have one president.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying. And that's what we all been saying. Finally, the Supreme Court got off their butt and decided to put a stop to this nonsense. See, and even Raggedy Amy Coney Barrett came through and gave a wonderful response to the DEI, the Supreme Court, John Jackson, as Joe Biden tries to say, the one that didn't even know what a woman was, and she probably don't know what the law is either. If you don't know that basic, the fact what a woman is, that should have ruined her right there. How you gonna make judgments, how you going to make, judgment calls and things like that. You don't know what a woman is. But nonetheless, that's one victory because these judges were out of control. And the great thing about it is that they moved kind of quickly. And this was the last ammunition for the Democrats to stop Trump's agenda when it comes down to their precious illegal immigrants. And of course, their Doge money and all of that stuff too. So let's continue as Scott goes ahead and drops all of these wonderful nuggets while that guy's face is imploding.
And now he's going to be able to actually govern. And so you could make an argument that this week or the last 2 weeks, the best week or 2 weeks of his entire presidency.
Hey, it's up there. I mean, and I think the best is yet to come. That's what I think. I want some more winning. I'm greedy. I'm like, yeah, that was good. That was good and all, but that was last week. Tell me what you're going to do for me this week. I want some more. So let's continue, though, because I am going to go ahead and gloat a little bit for the stuff that we won last week. Here we go.
Well, this was a big one, wasn't it? This was a big decision. This morning, the Supreme Court has delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law. It gives power back to people that should have it, including Congress, including the presidency. And it only takes bad power away from judges. It really doesn't take power. It takes bad power.
Exactly. Because if you are a righteous judge and you're doing the right thing, then you would know that, hey, wait a minute, I can't be an activist and trying to block the president's agenda just because the Democrat Party gives me a call in the middle of the night that can you do something crazy and ask them to turn an airplane around in mid-flight. That can you do something crazy for us? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why you appointed us, right? All of these liberal judges are appointed to be activists. Yeah, see, that's one of the requirements when the Democrats support you. You got to be an activist. You got to be woke. See, and so, if you were doing the right thing, you wouldn't have nothing to worry about. But if you're corrupt and your goal is to stop progress from the executive branch when the president had a mandate, then of course, yes, you deserve this verdict right here in y'all faces.
Sick power and unfair power. And it's really going to be, this is a very monumental decision. Thanks for this decision, and thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which...
Yes! Why do we have to be the only stupid country that has this? That's my question. Birthright citizenship. I mean, shouldn't it be I'm already a citizen and I gave birth to a baby and now that baby's a citizen? Versus I came here on a quick vacation. Maybe somebody put together a tour for pregnant women right when they were in their late 9th month. We're taking you from China over to the U.S. You're how old? I mean, you're 9 months and 3 days. Your water's supposed to break next week. All right, let's go. Get on the plane. Soon as you get here, you drop a bun. Next thing you know, Ma Fu Yi is an American citizen. And I'm going, how'd that happen? So, yeah, that's stupid. We need to address that. What else, Trump?
Now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
And what else? Whoa, what's this? NATO? You tell me Trump went over there? And like always, even the ones that act like they hate him, love him. They all be trying to take pictures with him. Yeah, he was in the middle of all the pictures, unlike Joe Biden, who was way in the back corner somewhere. I barely saw him. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. Trump was up front and everybody was around him. And it's complimenting him all over. You're our daddy. You're the best. Oh, look at this. Nobody could accomplish this. So let's go ahead and see what happened with this 5% NATO. I think my boy Pete Hegseth has something to say about it.
I think there's so much news, so many things happening that oftentimes big, momentous moments get missed. What President Trump accomplished in NATO yesterday was game-changing and historic.
Absolutely. And you know why I got missed, Pete? Because the fake news wanted to miss it. Yeah, they hit us with the Tony Montana. I don't see nothing, man. I don't see nothing. So that's what it was. All of this wonderful stuff that was happening, and y'all wasn't seeing nothing, but y'all do see all the negative stuff that y'all make up. The stuff that you make up. Even when there's nothing negative to say, you make it up. See, so now Pete Hegseth is about to give a masterclass on how to give the fake news a verbal lashing. And I mean a verbal lashing for the ages. So first, Pete, tell us about this NATO increase that the news just probably forgot about, except maybe Fox and some alternative conservative channels.
A shift in burden sharing to European responsibility in NATO that most would have said was impossible.
Until Trump rolled up on the scene. Money, 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 money. Money. Yeah, that's right. More money, more money. Yeah, you got to pay for the protection, okay? All right, if you don't have no money, no scratch, you don't get no protection. Here we go.
At the beginning of his term. But he said NATO needs to pay up. They started in the first term, and here in his second term, we've accelerated that. 32 NATO countries committed to spending 5% of their GDP on defense, on actually investing in the NATO alliance.
Now, do you think they would have all anteed up on their own? That's my question. Do you think, since we were the world's piggy bank under Joe Biden and almost every other president, do you really think that at some point those people in NATO would grow a conscience and be like, maybe it's not right that we're taking advantage of the United States and expecting them to step up to the table and protect us when we're giving peanuts? It's like a cousin or something that borrows money or say, let me go ahead and buy your car, man. I'll pay you back, I'll pay you back every month, man. I'm going to give you like $300. Do you think you're going to get that $300 every month? They're going to take advantage of your relationship and your kindness. Every month it's going to be, oh, dude, man, hey, man, I'm running a little tight this month. Hey, I tell you what, let me give you like 100, and then I'm going to give you like on the back end, I'm going to hook you up. And the whole time you're going to do is you're going to break us up. You my cousin and stuff, but we're going to be scrapping in a little bit because you are not going to give me that money. You know it. And it's the same thing with NATO. They was never going to pay that unless somebody put the foot down. And it looks like Daddy put the foot down. Let's continue. Here we go.
So I hope with all the ink spilled, all of your outlets find the time to properly recognize this historic change in continental security that other presidents tried to do, other presidents talked about.
Yeah.
President Trump accomplished it.
Yeah, because the rest of them didn't have the gonads to do it. They didn't have the gonads to do it, man. They have the gonads to pull the trigger down. You understand the presidents that President Trump is setting. I mean, it's going to be real hard after Trump leaves. I'm hoping young boys and young girls who are 100% MAGA, like I do. I love myself some J.D. Vance. I'm even liking Marco Rubio. I want to see some people step in and keep the party going and have this same type of, approach towards governing. America first agenda. Don't take no prisoners. Don't sit back and say, all right, I'm going to cut you some slack because y'all England and all. So y'all been, we go back a long way. Y'all could pay 3, but the rest can pay 5. No, Trump's like everybody needs to ante up. Yeah. Now, we might like y'all and all, but hey, this is business, man. Business. Okay? So let's continue because maybe the fake news is hearing what Pete's saying and they're getting all busted up and they're starting to repent. So let's see. If not, Pete's going to turn up the heat.
It's a huge deal. You see, we're here this morning because in hunting for scandals all the time, in trying to find wedges and spin stories, this press corps and the press corps miss historic moments.
Yeah.
You miss historic moments like 5%.
Yeah.
At NATO, which when you hear, I was in the closed door briefing. I wish there could have been cameras in there. When you heard the prime ministers and presidents of other countries, to a man and to a woman, looking at President Trump and saying, this never could have happened.
Never could have happened.
Never would have happened.
Never should have made it. No. That's right. Yeah. Never could have happened. Never would have happened. But yet Trump goes in there and makes it happen. We'll never have another. Trump is the GOAT, in my opinion. But look at this. So Pete is trying to prick the conscience of the fake news. Now, when somebody's telling you the truth to your face, you pretend sometimes that they ain't talking about you. It takes somebody being honest on the inside to say, yeah, okay, I do. Yeah, he right. We wake up every day and listen to what Trump says just so we can twist his words and make it seem negative. But we'll see. Maybe we might get through to at least 1 or 2 of these folks and make them repent. Who knows? What else, Pete, did they miss? Wonderful. 5% increase. Yeah, tell us the other stuff, Pete. Tell us the other stuff.
Seemed impossible 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago. But here we are because of your leadership. If you ask them the question, I bet they'd say the same thing. But searching for scandals, you miss historic moments like recruiting at the Pentagon.
Searching for scandals. Yeah, because you got your head in the dirt all day. Yeah, you're down in the dirt, in the muck, in the mire. You're digging through garbage cans and dumpsters trying to find some type of juice. Dumpster juice, that's what you're getting. So, yeah, so Pete's breaking it down. He's giving a dissertation. He said, first I'm going to tell you all the wonderful things, but y'all missed it. Even though we got folks overseas saying Trump did some wonderful things. Boy, his leadership is great. And it's sad when you hear overseas leaders saying things that our media probably should at least recognize or at least be, nonpartisan. You ain't got to celebrate it, but at least make sure you just call it for what it is. Trump increased 5. You can do it monotone and everything. Trump increased the NATO spending by 5% and other news today. Yeah. But when you come out and you try to spin something that's positive and make it negative, it only further makes everybody say that you are fake news. But he's about to shift into second gear on them.
Historic levels in the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy. Yeah, maybe there'll be a little mention here or there. But because it was under President Trump's leadership, because Americans are responding to him as commander-in-chief, the press corps doesn't want to write about it.
That's right. You can't make people think that Trump is popular and testosterone now is on the rise when it comes down to men and saying, all right, now I could get behind a leader like this. I might go ahead and join under this. I mean, I don't want to be sent off to, like the Ukraine and stuff and to mess like that. But under Trump, yeah, let's do it. But they can never do that. They could never do that. They just say that ain't a good story. That's nothing worth reporting. Let's talk about something else. What did Trump do today? Any bloodbaths? Any bloodbaths? No? Okay, let's go. We'll make up something. Don't worry. So Pete is about to shift into gears about this wonderful mission that took place that even some conservatives, they disagreed and they swore up and down that we were going to be in World War III by now. But unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, that didn't happen. None of that happened. So let's see how Pete addresses this. Here we go.
Or bring us to the topic of the moment. The highly successful strikes in Iran. Let me read the bottom line here.
Tell us. Oh, shoot.
Timeline of Iran being a few weeks away from a nuclear bomb is in direct contradiction to CNN's reporting. According to U.S. intelligence assessments, Iran is 3 years away from being able to produce a nuclear weapon if they wanted to.
What?
So the facts on Iran getting a nuclear weapon do not bear out the claim at the heart of what has put the world on the verge of world war. It only set back the Iranian nuclear program by months. We got to call it like it is. It's a big deal.
I find it
Whoa. Now, did you see that shift? Did you see that shite shift right there? Yeah, it's a shite shift. And it's a shite show going on in CNN. I mean, how you just gonna do that? One thing you're reporting is like this about they're 3 years away. Then the next reporting you're talking about this only gonna set their program back a couple months. That means what? A couple months they would have had a nuclear. What is it? Is it 3 years setback, or are they gonna have one in a couple of months? See, when you are a propagandist network, you gotta be able to organize your lies. They can't organize the lies. And they also assume that their audience won't remember the lies. They won't remember, like, wait a minute. Just last week you had said, yeah, that's what they hope. But lucky we got some people on the set that will remind them of their lies. But look who's back, y'all. She done slipped in from MSNBC once she got kicked off. And now she's starting to make her rounds on other networks. And I'm talking about Joyless Reed. Here, let's check out what she had to say.
Rather extraordinary that we are very casually having a conversation about the tactical success or failure of dropping a 3,000-pound bomb or two on a sovereign country that did not attack us.
Okay. So now she wants to, instead of saying, let's talk about the success or failure, because she knows it was a success. That's what it was. It accomplished what they were trying to do, with also avoiding what a lot of people thought would happen, which some people was afraid, of course, that, okay, this might lead to an ongoing confrontation where we got to put boots on the ground, or this might lead to World War III, or Russia might come in, or all these things that people were thinking could happen. It didn't happen. So now she's going to default and just say, well, what? Then instead of whether it was good or bad, let's just talk about the fact that it shouldn't happen, regardless of the potential of them coming up with a nuclear weapon at any moment, of course. But she says we shouldn't have did it, because I guess Joyless Reed would prefer. Now, just think about the worst case scenario. They did have access to developing a nuclear weapon, and they did it in they beat the time clock. They're like, okay, if we could just postpone and keep dragging it out, and then of course we'll come up with it and be like, surprise, we got one now. So now lay off of us, get off our backs. Okay, don't make us use this. Don't make us use this. Then I wonder what she would be saying. But let's continue though, because she got to find something negative about it.
And we are failing to unpack or even address, as we're discussing whether or not it was effective how we bombed Iran, whether Donald Trump was correct in saying we obliterated their facilities, and not asking, why on earth is the United States bombing a country that did not attack us? What on earth are we doing there at all? And
now this is the same country though who has had proxies attacking Americans for years, and they're not shy about saying death to America. And yeah, they got a history of using terrorism to hurt or kill Americans. But she's making it seem like they're just a peaceful, gentle woodland country that never did nothing. Now, you got to understand, America, our hands aren't clean and everything. And we've done some stuff that I look back now and disagree with. Things that at one point, because of ignorance or youth or just blind patriotism, we just assume that, yeah, we're doing the right thing. Why would we be going over there to invade Iraq just because of whatever? You get older, you get wiser, and you realize, wait a minute, we were over there fooling around. We were over there this and this and that. But when it comes down to this particular situation, my thing was, yes, I think we need to address them potentially getting this nuclear capability, but I don't want to be over there. I don't want us going over there and talking about now we're going to occupy and we're going to be putting boots on the ground. We just needed to deal with that. Whether Israel felt it was a threat or not, I think we personally, and Trump, I know personally, looked at that as a threat outside of Israel. He was saying, man, I don't know. When you got a country that talks that reckless and got a history of terrorism, and got all these proxies that they might drop one off for them, and you want one and you want some of this and y'all can have one too to blow up some stuff. That's a problem that I don't want to be worried about. And Trump said, let's deal with the problem without killing nobody and without even staying over there, not spending the night. Yeah, we didn't come to spend the night. We just came, took care of that problem and bounced, and actually chastised Israel to say, look, if y'all keep this thing going, we got a problem with that too. So we took care of the major problem. Now, why don't y'all cut this crap out? So let's continue, because apparently, according to Joyless Reed, who just got uglier and uglier every time. How you going to go away, come back uglier than you was? And it wasn't even that long you was away. But nonetheless, here she is. And I guess she feels that Iran is just an innocent country that they never threatened to blow us up or never used terrorism or something like that.
And why is it that there is this arrogance in the West and in the United States to say that we get to decide who can have nuclear energy? We get to...
No, we weren't talking about nuclear energy here. See, now notice what she's saying. I guess she just assumes all that 60% enrichment of uranium was just for nuclear energy. That's what she's assuming. And, the play on words, who could... No. You want nuclear energy, that's cool. Unfortunately, I think we've maxed out when it comes down to countries that got nuclear weapons. And a couple of them slid in before they could be stopped, like North Korea. That should have been dealt with as well. And I think the big issue is rogue nations. See, that's the biggest concern. A rogue nation, or a nation that is very hostile and have more of a suicidal approach towards nuclear weapons. Maybe Joyless Reed don't realize what those things do. Unfortunately, we had to find out during Hiroshima and all of that, and that wasn't even the big boys. That wasn't even the ones we got now. So I don't know if we want a whole bunch of those floating around out there. keeping track of all of the nukes that's floating around. Like, all right, did anybody see that? Where'd that one go? Where'd that one go? It was just right there. You're telling me one's missing? Wait, hold on. How many did they have? How many do they still got? 18? No, they got. Oh shoot! Where's all? All right, let's everybody start looking around. I don't want to be dealing with that. Okay, and I think most countries, even ones that got nuclear weapons, are going less the better. In fact, I would love it if all of us would get rid of our nuclear weapons. That would be great. Unfortunately, you know it wouldn't happen to be like, all right, you go. Now you go first. Now you go. I go when you go. You can never trust it. Never trust it. You be like, all right, yeah, hey, put it down. You put yours down first at the same time. Same time. Okay, now you got some more back there. No, well, you got some more back there. No, I ain't got no more back there. You know that's what would happen. So they're here now. You can't let that cat put that cat back in the bag, unfortunately. But you don't want to keep opening the bag so more cats can jump out. You know, and if you could prevent something like that from happening without killing anybody, okay, hey, you know. So let's continue though.
Decide that, and not just decide it. We get to act on it and drop bombs on a country that didn't attack us. We had no business dropping bombs on Iran. And so the question of whether the tactic worked or not, to me, ignores the fundamental moral question at hand. And I think that I'm not alone probably among Americans who are saying that this was something that we had absolutely no right to do.
Okay, so now that's her opinion on that. Okay, and you know, the way I see it is that unfortunately, Iran has proven that they hate us. And they've also, you know, have been participating in a lot of terrorism. And she's making it seem like they haven't ever done anything to the U.S. And you could only imagine, and I'm talking about the leaders, you could only imagine how emboldened or even how insidious they might be if they did develop a nuclear weapon. Instead of using a suicide, you know what, to damage maybe 100 people. Imagine if they slid one of those to one of their proxies or something like that. So, yeah, she can go ahead and have that opinion all she wants. But I will say this about this mission. I admire the fact that it was done clean, it was done precise, and it was done with no casualties, and it was done with no fallout afterwards. And I would even go so far to say, if the United States didn't have nuclear weapons, and we were talking reckless and say Iran did, I will go so far as to say they probably would blow ours up too. I'm sure Russia would blow ours up too if we were close to getting one. I'm sure many of our enemies, especially knowing, okay, United States is huge. They got a great military. Only thing they're missing, the key piece to this is a nuke. I think they'd be like, especially if we've been talking reckless too. I'm pretty sure they would say, let's stop the U.S. from getting a nuke. I don't think that would be good for business. So, yeah. So now here's Pete Hegseth. He's about to go ahead and let's go ahead. Joy Reid, she feels like we shouldn't have did it. So here's a song for her that the Trump came up with. Okay.
Bomb, bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Throw some rocks, tell the Ayatollah gonna place you in the box.
That's how petty Trump is. That's how petty he is. He's like, yeah, upload that. Michael can't keep it together. But you know the crazy part about it is, I love Michael's take on bomb Iran. It still makes the enemy know that Trump's a loose cannon, but really he's not. That's the crazy part about it. He's petty and he's funny and he makes light of certain things, you know, but he's also unpredictable to them. And I like it. I want our enemies going, man, this dude just bombed us and then had the nerve to upload a cut named Bomb Iran. Michael.
Old Uncle Sam's getting pretty hot. Time to turn Iran into a parking lot.
Who wrote this? They deserve a Tony or something.
President Trump.
Now, I'm glad like I said, that it was not worse than just eliminating their nuclear facilities. At the end of the day, I don't want to see people killed. I don't care what country you're from. I don't want to see Iranians killed. I don't want to see Jews killed. I don't want to see Palestine. I don't want to see nobody killed. And I think that's Trump's, overall goal and agenda. If he thinks that, okay, this could lead to a lot of people being threatened or killed, and if we could stop this without killing nobody, and take that off the board, then let's do it. And then not only that, to show you that I'm not really trying to go to war with anybody, but I'm also going to address other issues in other countries, other wars, and tell these people as well, what are you doing? Cut it out. All right. All right. And after it's all over with, I might make a cut about it. I might make a song. Who knows? But long as, it wasn't worse, because it could have been way worse, but he drops bomb Iran out there. But now let's get back to Pete, okay? Because I'm sure Joyless Reed was listening to that song and was getting very mad. Here we go.
Directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history. Yes. And it was a resounding success, resulting in a ceasefire agreement and the end of the 12-day war.
Yeah, that'll do it. And what was crazy about it is the only reason it was so secretive is because we didn't tell the Democrats. And frankly, I think if we'd have told some Republicans, they might have leaked it too, especially some of our rhinos. So it was probably best that we just kept it on the hush.
There's been a lot of discussion about what happened and what didn't happen.
Yeah.
Step back for a second. Okay. Because of decisive military action, President Trump created the conditions to end the war, decimating, choose your word, obliterating, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities. I want to read some of the assessments that have been provided, because whether it's fake news, CNN.
Oh, yes, and they're fake. Now, watch Pete Hegseth. When I listened to this, I was like, Pete, boy, it seems personal. Pete came out and went to work on MSNBC and CNN. And I like when you call them out by name. That's what I like. I want them squirming in the seat because they're in that audience. They're there. Yeah, Trump and the MAGA group of people that he surrounded himself with, they've learned. Don't wait until afterwards to start calling them out. You want to call them out to their face right there. That you sitting right there. Yeah, I'm not afraid to call you out. That you reported some fake stuff, so I love it. So let's go ahead and see what he had to say to CNN and all of them.
MSNBC or the New York Times, there's been fawning coverage of a preliminary assessment. I've had a chance to read it. Every outlet has breathlessly reported on a preliminary assessment from DIA. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
again, it's preliminary, a day and a half after the actual strike, when it admits itself in writing that it requires weeks to accumulate the necessary data to make such an assessment. It's preliminary. It points out that it's not been coordinated with the intelligence community at all. There's low confidence in this particular report.
What?
It says in the report there are gaps in the information. It says in the report multiple linchpin assumptions are what this assessment. A linchpin assumption, you know what that is? That means your entire premise is predicated on a linchpin. If you're wrong, everything else is wrong. And yet, still, this report acknowledges it's likely severe damage. Again, this
is the problem with the fake news. They are quick to take something that is half-baked, half-truth, or not a lot of details, long as it's negative. Long as they could find just something to throw mud on the operation. They're quicker to grab some negativity than positivity. They're that person that likes more of the gossip than the truth. They're like, well, what they say there? What she say? When did he say that? What they do then? And who said what? She did that. They're that type. Versus saying, no, I don't need to know about any of that. I don't need to know about it. I don't want to hear all the negativity. Okay, then let's wait until all the details come out. But no. See, they know if they'd have waited for all the details come out, then, of course, their bubblehead audience, of course, might hear the truth. Versus, let's throw out the lie first or the half-truth and let that spread. And then, their audience aren't going to say, well, let's go ahead and follow up and see the more details that came out. So they knew what they were doing. And that's the bad part about the news when it comes down to Trump. They tried their best to make him look bad. And by doing that, they make themselves look bad because they are definitely overlooking things that most people might even look at and say, that's great. But nope, not them. Let us find the negative.
This is preliminary, but leaked because someone had an agenda to try to muddy the waters and make it look like this historic strike wasn't successful. I'm going to get to the chairman in a moment because he's going to lay out the particulars
Lay it out, Pete. Lay it out.
based on his professional military experience. But here's what other folks are saying. The DIA that put that report out says that this is a preliminary low confidence report and will continue to be
But that's good enough for CNN. Low confidence. That's just good enough for us. We will take the bare minimum. Anything we could just hold on to, if it's a string, a thread of negativity, we'll take that. Got the whole yarn right there. Big ball of yarn, but you just want the string. Yeah, let's continue.
Find as additional intelligence becomes available. How about the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission? The devastating U.S. strikes on Fordow destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility inoperable.
Yeah, but they didn't want to hear that. They're not looking for these type of reports. No, now get that out the way. Get that out the way. And they do this across the board. All of the positivity will come in and they'll go, Now, we don't want to hear that. Trump might give an amazing speech. Amazing speech. Says one thing that they go ahead and say, we can flip that and make that sound negative. Let's forget about all the wonderful stuff he said. And let's focus on this. Yeah, and we found that out when he gave his speech about the State of the Union. And he, talked about the little boy who became a complimentary Secret Service member. And they found something negative about that. That goes to show we are on a mission to find something negative to throw on Trump.
Have any of these quotes made their way into the New York Times or the Washington Post?
No.
MSNBC? CNN?
Absolutely.
Any of these quotes? How about this one? This is a new one.
Give us
From the
another
UN, the United Nations. No friend of the United States, or certainly Israel often. Here's the head of the UN Atomic Energy Agency this morning, Rafael Grossi. U.S. and Israeli strikes caused enormous damage to Iran's nuclear sites.
Wow. So non-friendly organizations are saying, yeah, it was bad. But CNN, they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait. Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and drop out the half-baked report and stuff like that. Ignore all the other stuff in the report that says, we're not sure and it could be wrong and we need more time. Forget all that. We don't need that.
Don't take my word for it. How about the IDF's chief of staff? I can say here that the assessment is that we significantly damaged the nuclear program, setting it back by years. I repeat, years. The Iranian foreign minister, spokesman. Our nuclear installations have been badly damaged, that's for sure.
From the horse's
That's
mouth.
an understatement. John Radcliffe, the director of the CIA, putting out a statement just last night. CIA can confirm that a body of credible intelligence indicates Iran's nuclear program has been severely damaged by recent targeted strikes.
Whoa. Now you think CNN want to come out with that info? No, man. That make Trump look good. Yeah. They didn't need that. They's like, we can't wait. We can't wait.
This includes new intelligence from a historically reliable, very different than preliminary assessment with low confidence. He's saying historically reliable and accurate source and method that several key Iranian nuclear facilities were destroyed and would have to be rebuilt over the course of years.
Wow. Man, Pete's digging into them.
CIA continues to collect.
Yeah, Iran did say otherwise, but unfortunately, some other people in Iran are saying, no, it was severely damaged, like he just mentioned, that guy. And what did you expect? What is he, the Ayatollah? Did y'all see him come out and say that? Yeah, we dug into the U.S. We defeated Israel. We defeated the U.S. We got them on the run. Even the people probably in Iran was like, okay, yeah, sure.
Collect additional reliably sourced information to keep appropriate decision makers fully informed. How about DNI Tulsi Gabbard yesterday? She writes, and I quote, "New intelligence confirms what POTUS has stated numerous times. Iran's nuclear facilities have been destroyed." Institute for Science and International Security President David Albright, overall, Israel and U.S. attacks have effectively destroyed Iran's centrifuge enrichment program. Time and time again, I can go down the list. Those that understand, those that see, those that do proper assessments recognize that what the United States military did was historic.
Historic. Whether you agreed with it or not, it was historic and it was effective. And like I said, it did not have the result that I'm sure the fake news, the Democrats, and even some conservatives would have either anticipated or wanted to see, which would be it escalates into something huge then now, of course, you can say, look, Trump didn't keep his promises about not dragging us into new wars. Or Trump, this led to the hundreds of Americans getting killed or not. You know, it was, for all intents and purposes, it was a clean, operation. In, out, no deaths, blew everything up, got the confirmation we needed, and then guess what else had happened?
And again, before I pass it to the chairman, because you, and I mean specifically you, the press.
Get him, Pete.
Specifically you, the press corps. Because you cheer against Trump so hard. It's like in your DNA and in your blood to cheer against Trump. Because you want him not to be successful.
Boy, Pete's getting mad. Pete's feeling it. He's calling him out. When I heard this speech, I was like, get him, Pete. Get him, Pete. Get him with that speech, Pete. He's like, because of you ones right out there. Yeah, you know, I see you with your beady little eyes looking up here at me. Continue, Pete, telling them about themselves.
So bad. You have to cheer against the efficacy of these strikes. You have to hope maybe they weren't effective. Maybe the way the Trump administration has represented them isn't true.
Yeah. Yeah, at first it was, no, they don't have the nuclear capabilities. That's like months and years and years and years and stuff like that away. Oh, wait, they do have it, but Trump wasn't able to blow it up all the way. That's what it is. So now you got to go back in. You got to repeat it because it didn't work the first time, huh, Trump? You're trying to take a victory lap and it didn't work. So what is it? Did they not have it, or do they have it now and we didn't actually blow it up? What is it, fake news?
So let's take half-truths, spun information, leaked information, and then spin it. Spin it in every way we can to try to cause doubt and manipulate the public mind over whether or not our brave pilots were successful. How many stories have been written about how hard it is to, I don't know, fly a plane for 36 hours?
Zero.
Has MSNBC done that story? Has Fox? Have we done the story how hard that is? Have we done it 2 or 3 times so that American people understand? How about how difficult it is to shoot a drone from an F-15 or 16 or F-22 or F-35? Or what?
They don't care about that stuff. They don't care because that makes our military look good. That makes Trump look good. There you go. That focuses on something besides Trump. We only need a negative story. That's it. That's it, man. We don't care nothing about all that stuff.
What it's like to man a Patriot battery, or how hard it is to refuel midair, giving the American people an understanding of how complex and sophisticated this mission really was.
And I took the time to go ahead and learn about the B-2 bomber and all that stuff. That's a very sophisticated airplane right there. All right. Only seats like 2 people. Yeah. Folks got to take naps. You got to refuel. Yeah. You got microwave your own food in there. It's tight. And you got to manage all of that. The technology that goes into that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And if nothing more, other countries probably like, dang, they pulled that off nice. Ooh. Do we got a radar that can pick that up? No? Well, we better take it easy. Iran, y'all good? Y'all good? Okay, man. Hey, look, dap me up, baby. Hey, if you need me, man, hit me up. Hit me up. Oh, now you want me? No, not. Hey, I'm gonna get back with y'all though. Hey, but you know I got y'all back. All right. So let's continue because Pete's about to finish them.
There are so many aspects of what our brave men and women did that, because of the hatred of this press corps, are undermined because your people are trying to leak and spin that it wasn't successful. It's irresponsible. And folks in this room are privy to that information because of the proximity here in the Pentagon. It's an important responsibility. And time again, classified information is leaked or peddled for political purposes to try to make the president look bad. And what's really happening is you're undermining the success of incredible B-2 pilots and incredible F-35 pilots and incredible refuelers and incredible air defenders who accomplished their mission, set back a nuclear program in ways that other presidents would have dreamed. How about we celebrate that?
Yeah. How about we celebrate it? Now, this is the sad part about this. Regardless of what this mission was, if it was any mission, I don't care how dangerous the threat would be to us or anything. If it was any mission that the fake news would have gotten wind of prior to the mission being carried out, they would have leaked it. If the Democrats would have gotten, privy to any type of information, they would have leaked it because, see, their whole goal and agenda is destroy Trump. We don't care if it hurts us, our interest. We don't care nothing about that. We want Trump to fail. So if that requires us leaking something and destroying, an operation that might have been extremely important, we'll do it. They're probably mad Didn't nobody leaked it before it happened. See, and yet the Democrats are whining about they didn't get no intelligence briefing. Can we trust them with anything? No. Nothing, absolutely nothing. They couldn't even be trusted with the Supreme Court's decision about Roe versus Wade. They had somebody on the inside to leak that mess out and then encourage all them violent, mostly peaceful protesters to go ahead and harass those Supreme Court judges.
How about we talk about how special America is, that we have these capabilities. I think it's too much to ask, unfortunately, for the fake news, so we're used to that. But we also have an opportunity to stand at the podium and read the truth of what's really happening. And the reality is, you want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated,
whatever.
You want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, and we should celebrate it as Americans, and it gives us a chance to have peace, chance to have a deal, and an opportunity to prevent a nuclear Iran, which is something President Trump talked about for 20 years.
Yep, just didn't wake up last night and say, yeah, we thought better do something about this. See, so there's Pete's message to the fake news. And let's see if they heard the message, if they got it.
And no other presidents had the courage to actually do.
So now, here we go, y'all. So now, Trump talked about the ceasefire over there with Iran and, of course, Israel after the bomb was dropped. But he's also working out stuff in the Congo and Rwanda. But you think the fake news? You think the fake news is excited about that? Now you know they're supposed to be pro-black. Ooh nah nah nah. We going to the motherland, okay? All right. Now a couple weeks ago, they was whining when Trump talked about bringing in some of those refugees from South Africa. They brought up the Congo and they brought up Rwanda. And it was like that well, look at all that people over there who's that being genocided, and why don't he open up the door? And now look at this. You would think they'd be celebrating all of this because, they love the black nations and black people, right? And Trump hates them, and it's odd because you would think Trump, being a white supremacist that he is, would want them to eliminate each other. Why would we stop that? There's this black killing black. See, the Democrats do that. They do that. They let black on black deaths take place all the time in their cities, and they never try to broker a peace between the Bloods and the Crips. No, they don't be up in that mug like, y'all need to cut this out. They make excuses for it. They don't report on it. They turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to it. That's what they do while all the black folks are killing each other. But the white supremacist is stepping in, saying, all right, cut that mess out. There's a better way of living. So let's see what happens. And I bet you the fake news is celebrating this, right? Let's see.
Let me ask you a question.
Literally in the Oval Office, Friday afternoon.
You said something earlier. You said, and you kind of agree with Pete when he says there's something about the media where they feel like they want to disprove Donald Trump. Is that what you said? Something to that effect?
It happens every day.
And you think that's
it's happening right now? It's happening right now with this black lady with that fake straight weave she got in. Do you think her hair's that straight? I know how most black people's hair lay, okay? I thought it got more curls to it than that. Either you laid into it with a hot comb, and then I'm talking a hot comb too, to get it that straight, or that's a straight up weave. But nonetheless, it don't matter. I'm not gonna focus on her weave. I'm gonna focus on her lies, okay? I'm gonna focus on her weaves as she's bobbing and weaving through the truth. So here she is right here talking about some, you say that the media try to focus on all the negative, right? Yes. That's exactly what he's saying, just like what you're doing now. Watch this.
what they want to do, right? You think the media is going in to say he's lying and he's not telling the truth. Do you believe that?
That is the
now she's about to fulfill a self-fulfilling prophecy. She's prophesying that you said they want the. So watch, here she goes.
ending disposition.
Do you believe that he tells the truth?
Yeah, I do. Every time.
Painfully.
You think the president tells the truth? This current president tells the truth often?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I also think that, to our point that we haven't established, he does announce things before it's too soon.
They literally have the countries in there.
The program isn't.
I feel like you should watch the news before you come out here.
And see, that's the crazy part about these folks. I mean, you could see things happening and they will be like, that's not what just happened. And I'm going, what are you talking about? We just saw it take place. But see, it's not all solidified. It's not true. There's some minor details not worked out. It is constantly, let's go ahead and try to sow some doubt. So now this woman is telling Scott that, Trump talked about that peace treaty between these two countries. I don't believe it. It's not true. He was premature. And Scott's sitting there going, what are you, mate? Maybe am I taking crazy pills? I mean, you didn't see it on TV. So let's go ahead and see if she did her homework. Because now she's about to make a fool of herself because she didn't do her homework. She didn't watch the video.
I feel like you should stop trying to defend him just to
I
defend
feel like
him.
you should watch
I think you should stop.
I feel like you should watch the news. I mean, that is your job, isn't it? If you're going to come out and you're going to try to throw mud on Trump and call him this and say he's lying and he's leaving out the details and he's premature on it. If you're going to do that, how about you watch the whole news?
Job's not done. A foreign minister from Rwanda told CNN, he said he's committed to supporting this ongoing negotiation, but warned that ending the conflict will depend on political will and the good faith. And he doesn't know if that is true.
I mean, that's a legitimate statement. That don't mean they didn't sign it. Of course, it relies on people following through with the peace treaty.
Referring to the DRC's.
But that don't mean it wasn't signed.
It's not done. It's not done.
It's not done? It's not done. Oh, well, what is this?
You didn't watch the news yesterday. They literally announced it in the Oval Office.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is indeed a historical day because it's the signing of a peace agreement between Congo and Rwanda to end a conflict that has been going on for 30 years.
Look at that. How did she miss that? How did she? Oh, because she wanted to. Because she is doing exactly what Scott said. As she sat back and started off talking about, so you're saying that the media tries to find out everything negative about what Trump says and twist his word. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do it every day. And she was doing it right then. And he had to call her out because she didn't do her homework. Now, you already know that was not a good look for Trump in the eyes of the fake news. Trump sitting up in there with black folks from other countries. Unlike that the South African president that was up in there, got a little cocky. I tell you, Trump, he should listen to the people. And then come to find out, oh, you want me to listen to the people? Watch this video clip right here. What is that? What is that? So now, here he is, the white supremacist, up in there getting complimented by people from the Congo that signed a peace treaty. The beautiful black Nubian princess reporter was up there complimenting Trump, talking about how great this was and all of that good stuff. That's good PR. That's good PR. And that's why that woman had to come out and say, you know what, that's just not all the way finished. They said that it's up to everybody to keep the peace agreement. That's what it says. Now you see their motive? Yeah, it's their mission to try to throw mud on Trump's wonderful week. Nah, but they're not going to go ahead and throw mud on our party. And they're not going to be no party poopas. So listen, whoa, what's this? Stock market and the economy? Oh, I thought that failed. That's what we've been hearing. I thought we ain't even got no economy no more. And the stock market, oh, that imploded. Yeah, y'all ain't here? Y'all ain't here? A couple months ago, that's what was happening. But let's see what really happened. April 7, 2025.
As everyone knows, right now the nation is in tariff chaos. No one really knows what's going on, except everyone knows there's real trouble ahead.
Uh-oh. Now, do y'all see Mr. Burns? Everybody knows that this glasses is down on my nose, about to slide off my face, and I'm over here reading nothing but lies. So let's see what Mr. Burns has to say about it. Everybody knows that Trump is destroying the American economy and the stock market.
We hear one thing out of the chief economic advisor to the president, and the next minute the president says, no, what he's saying is fake news. One hand doesn't know what the other is doing, but everything they're doing is very bad. Very, very bad.
Very, very bad. Unlike the Democrats. I mean, they just was great when they were in power, right? We had a booming economy. Bidenomics. That is Bidenomics, right? All the inflation that went up was just transitory. All of that. Yeah, they were knocking it out the park with the economy, weren't they? Weren't they? It's amazing that these fools get up here and they read this stuff and they pretend that nobody knows how horrible they governed. I mean, this guy is up here talking about Trump doom and gloom and he doesn't know what he's doing. And I'm going, y'all have 4 years to prove that you knew something and y'all destroyed it. Y'all just gave away a blessing. Y'all were handed a good economy. All y'all had to do was ease off of your desire for power and trying to make us all be locked down and see how far you can go when it comes down to controlling the population with your fake little, the virus is still out there. We need another year of lockdowns. Maybe if y'all would have governed right, y'all might not be as so raggedy right now. Your ratings might be a little higher than like 21%. But nope, y'all blew it. Yeah, the goal seemed like to y'all were to collapse the economy. Did everything to make it tough. But now that Trump is doing things to correct that, here you are a couple months ago reading some stuff that, let's see how it came to pass. Let's see how it aged.
That's the only thing we do know.
That's the only thing we know.
That things are very, very bad.
Very,
the
very
market
bad.
continues to crash. Millions of New Yorkers who put money in their retirement accounts are seeing the market down 10% since so-called Liberation Day.
Since so-called Liberation Day. I wonder who wrote those notes for him. All right, so now he's flipping the page. He got more negativity. Here we go.
People don't feel very liberated when their IRAs go down. Their life savings is in trouble.
Wow.
And now Trump tariffs are likely to drive New York right into a recession.
What? More than how the governor and the mayors and the leaders of New York has done? More than that? I don't think he could do much more when it comes down to your liberal asshole ran Democrat cities and states. Y'all done that yourself. There you go, buddy. Don't point the finger, point the thumb. Chucky, isn't that your state and city? Huh? Isn't it? And if you let this new guy get in, it's gonna get worse. Oh yeah. Y'all up here trying to figure out how to sabotage one of your own now. Because y'all let all of these monkeys out the bag. Y'all are the ones who tolerated Democrats in your party defined as some darn socialists, Democrat socialists. Right there. That should have been a non-starter. Whoa, you can't be in our party running around talking about your Democrat socialists, even though we are socialists. We all know that, but you can't put that in your title. You can't you don't let the monkey out the bag like that. You can't just be open with it. People need to be blindsided about our socialism. Yeah, we want them to go ahead and be asleep and wake up one day in socialism. But when you bring it up front, people's antennas go up. What did you just say? You're a what? A Democrat? What is that? A Democrat or socialist? But your party tolerated folks in there under that definition. And now, yeah, y'all got a big problem. But let's see, I'm not here to talk about that because Chuck is telling us our economy is crashing and stuff.
I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
We're on the verge of a major market milestone.
What? This gotta be old footage under Bidenomics. This gotta be something under Bidenomics where they were talking about this because Chuck Schumer just said that we're in big trouble. We don't know what they're doing. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing and all of that. So this gotta be under Bidenomics where they're talking about these historic high percentages right here. Surely it's under Bidenomics.
The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are on track for all-time highs. This would be the first record high for the S&P since
wild
February.
considering the drops that you were on just talking about just last month.
It's been an absolutely unbelievable ride. I've never covered anything quite like this. Look at this.
Yeah, get off. Kick them off the ride. Yeah, they're complaining the whole time. Now it's talking about this is a great ride. It's been great. It's an awesome ride. No. See, y'all don't know how to give time. Give things time when it comes down to Trump. Y'all pretend that y'all don't know why he's negotiating these, tariffs and stuff like that. Y'all try to undermine him all the time. You side with every country besides him. You immediately take the negative side as if y'all don't know the purpose of this. Y'all don't know that he's doing this for America's future. Y'all don't know the leverage that we have right now. Y'all try to undermine it at every turn. You know we got the leverage, and we got all the spades in the hand, but y'all talking about that y'all can't win, that y'all probably gonna underbid, and y'all don't know. And I'm going, would y'all shut up? Y'all know how things work, but nah, y'all want to see us lose. Now you got to sit here and eat crow as you read these wonderful stock price hikes.
This chart. This is the S&P just since this year started. And look at that epic sell-off back in March and April. That's because investors were freaking out.
Yeah, probably because you guys were freaking them out. I don't know what Trump's doing. If you listen to those dodo birds, I'm sure people's like, sell Mortimer, sell Mortimer. And now they're going, oh, shoot, dang on it. Now, we saw what Trump did to the economy the first time. We know we're not dealing with Democrats or just traditional politicians. We're dealing with businessmen. And we know that's Trump's baby. The economy is his baby. Yeah, out of all the stuff he's dealing with, that economy is his baby. Money is his baby. He likes making money. He likes to be able. And this is where I say Trump's narcissism comes to, it's actually beneficial to us. Trump refuses to fail. He hates admitting failure. He does not like failure. And I'm like, good. That's the type of approach I want you to have. I want you to succeed. Because when you say you're going to turn the market around, you're going to bring back jobs, and you're going to do all of these things that I agree with, I don't want failure. I want somebody who's going to make it their mission to succeed. So you best believe he's putting the right people in place. They're negotiating the right things. He's using all that he can to be able to sit back one day and pop his suspenders and be like, didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all? I told you I'd do it like now. See?
About the president's Liberation Day tariff.
Everything they're doing is very bad. Very, very bad.
Very bad. Very, very bad. Unlike the Biden administration and all of that Bidenomics and stuff like that.
That's the only thing we do know. That things are very, very bad. The market continues to crash.
Oh, then look at this. The S&P 500, just since that low in April, has gained almost $10 trillion in market value. It's a stunning increase.
What? With a T? Trillion? Where's Truck? Anybody? Somebody go get Mr. Burns. Get him back out there and see if he can spin that. It looks very, very, very good now, but trust me, as I put on my glasses, it looks very bad. To everyone else, it's good, but not to me. So apparently, it looks very, very good. Now, we know the stock market could go up and down, but boy, we still working on these trade deals in China, and now India's about to come through and all of. Man, can you imagine? In the big, beautiful bill, once that gets passed, and ain't no more tax on tips and over. You know how much overtime I'm going to be working after that? Yeah, y'all might not ever see me again. I'm going to be at the job like 24 hours. Like, I'm just going to sleep here. I got a cot in the back. I'm just going to take a quick nap, come right back out and get on my line, start producing some steel. I need about 100 hours of overtime a night. Because it ain't getting taxed. And I want it to be to the point where my overtime is making more money for me than my base salary. That's how much overtime I want. So right now, it's not worth it. My first 2 weeks there, I worked overtime, looked at my check, felt like I was stuck up without a pistol. Sitting there like, what the crap? I mean, I was smiling at the gross. I saw that gross, y'all. I was like, woo, whoa, wait a minute. There's the net. What happened to the gross? The gross became gross. I'm like, ooh, geez, y'all took how much of my overtime from me? I want it all back. So get that mess passed. Might pick up another job as a waitress. Be up in that bad boy like, tips only, forget paying for the food. I just want straight tips because it goes right into my pocket. Let's continue. Here we go.
Mr. President, a leading global economist just did a 180 and says your tariff plan, you may have outsmarted everybody with it. What is your message?
I love this.
Look at that, press. First of all, they all in there smiling. He done turned, I guarantee you, secretly, probably a lot of them love Trump. They probably, he's great. Oh, are the cameras on me? They catch me smiling at Trump? Oh, can we delete that part? I gotta look like an evil parrot in a cage. So now, you got the beautiful black Nubian princess in there smiling. Yeah, you got somebody right here cheesing. Look at that. They all want to know. Mm-hmm. Oh, but then you got CNN sitting up front. Either that, MSNBC, I don't know which one he is. But whatever it is, fake news. But now, let's see what Trump got to say.
I love this question. This is the favorite. This is the best question I've ever been asked because I've been going through abuse for years on this.
Yeah. Where's Jim DaCosta? That Mr. President. Where is April? Talking about something that the White House that supports slavery. What happened to all of them? The fake news crew. They was all in that much. Mr. President, why you keep calling it an invasion, Mr. President? Jim, put the mic down. Wait, I got another question. Jim, put the mic down. But they need it. Now Jim's out of a job. Let's continue. Here we go.
But Mr.
Because as you know, we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
No inflation whatsoever.
Mr. President, what is your message to critics who think your tariff plan will cause a recession?
You're dumb, stupid, you're a hater. How about that?
I think they should go back to business school.
And that's a nice way of putting it. Well, here they go right here.
Stupid, you're smart.
Yeah.
I was wrong, you were right.
Tell me more.
You're the best, I'm the worst.
Keep going.
You're very good looking, I'm not attractive.
Yeah.
All right. As long as you're willing to admit that.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to end with CNN switching up their tactics. Now, I'm not fooled by this. All right. But I will give this man some credit. He's very accurate in his assessment. And I don't know why he did it. What's his motive? But for some reason, he decided to prove that CNN can actually, present the news. They can see exactly what's going on. They choose not to. See, it's one thing for me to say, well, these people are incapable. They're not intelligent enough. They don't got the resources. Maybe they don't have all the information. That's why they're coming out with all of these negative hits pieces and stuff like that. But the reality is they are smart. They know what's going on. They know that what's happening is positive. They just choose to put a negative spin on it. So now we're seeing what they're capable of doing. And we saw an example of this when Fake Crapper, after Biden laid a goose egg during that debate, all of a sudden that guy became a great reporter on Biden. He was calling out the White House, y'all, talking about the lies that come out of there and the obvious things that we all been seeing for months. And I'm going, so you purposefully overlooked all that? You telling me just now you got a revelation, all of a sudden your skill set done just jumped right after you saw Biden lay that egg? And I'm thinking to myself, well, if you're supposed to be a person that reports the news, I thought observation skills were important. I thought your ability to deduce what's going on and do some research and use some common sense and, but no, y'all weren't seeing all the obvious things we were, but now you do. Since when? So that means you were able to do it. You chose not to. And this guy chose to show us that CNN actually can report the facts, but they just choose not to. So let's hear this guy, because I'm sure that he probably got a whole bunch of negative fallout from this. But if he would keep this up, he might even get some viewers. Let's see what he had to say about it.
President Trump is having a moment. The first 5 months of Trump 2.0, they're in the books.
Yeah.
I'm not shy about voicing my disagreement here with President Trump. We're doing so on radio.
You sure are. Because that's what you do 99.9999999% of the time. That's how much you do it. I've seen your handiwork, pal. So don't think I'm going to cut you some slack with your egghead. But for now, you did a good job. Let's continue. Here we go.
Often, whether it's trade, border control, Iran, I find myself agreeing with the goal, but not the approach. But viewed objectively, I have to say that Donald Trump has just had the best week or best 10 days of his second term.
More? What? Tell me more. Flatter us more. I feel like Bugs Bunny when he plays the girl bunny. Tell me more. So let's hear some more flattery from the egghead. Here we go.
I'm still not sure bombing Iran was warranted. As I said last week, I'd have liked to have seen the evidence of Iran being on the nuclear doorstep rather than take Prime Minister Netanyahu's word for it, especially in the face of what DNI Tulsi Gabbard had testified in March and what Trump himself was saying right up until Israel launched its strike against Iran. But the mission was carried out with stealth and with precision. There were no American casualties. And while Congress is divided after receiving briefings on the extent of the damage, I'm sure that we've derailed Iran's nuclear program, at least temporarily.
Had to confess that because at first, CNN was said that they're still intact, they're still enriching. They're down there now. Yeah, they just felt like it was a thunder roar right there. They were in there when they dropped the bomb. It's like, you feel that? I don't feel nothing. It felt like maybe thunder or something. Let's keep enriching, according to CNN. So now let's finish hearing him. They'll say, yeah, you're right. There's probably destroyed. What else?
And there's some valuable...
I'm buffering? Oh, no. Let's get the buffering over. All right, let me know if I'm still buffering because I'm using the Wi-Fi. On my thing right. Better now? Cool. All right. All the money I pay for the Wi-Fi. Plus, they digging up my front yard to put some I guess some more Wi-Fi in. I better get free. Then it tore up my whole front yard. Putting some whatever things under the ground or something like that for T-Mobile. I'm like, I better get me some. Somebody said I didn't notice. Good. Okay, so let's keep going. So now, what would you said that it was executed wonderfully and it's most likely destroyed? Unfortunately, like y'all said the first time, it's not destroyed. They're down there having a party. They're celebrating under the ground. But let's continue. Here we go.
Well, deterrent effect for America's adversaries who witnessed last week's exercise.
Now that is true. You have to admit that definitely does deter our adversaries. They're like, woof, they did that smooth. They went in there quiet. And do we got technology like that? Do we got any of those stealths anywhere? No. Oh man. Well, we better chill out then. So let's continue.
Then, last Tuesday, President Trump left the White House en route to Europe.
And did what?
At the time, there was a question as to whether Israel and Iran would honor a ceasefire. That caused the president to offer the most unfiltered, non-controversial, direct words that I can recall anybody ever saying about the Middle East.
Because he kept it real? So wait, I thought he was the puppet of Netanyahu and stuff like that. But instead, what did he do?
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
And that dude with that egghead, he appreciated that. He's like, ooh, man, we ain't never seen a president drop that out there. That's how upset he was about it. He's like, you know what? Right now, both of y'all. But I'm upset with Israel right now for the way they responded and this and that. And but it worked. It worked. But it also showed that all of these rumors about Trump being manipulated and all of this stuff, no, he's his own man. Whether you like the choice or not, that was his choice. That was not a choice that, okay, well, you want me to, just like they said, he was Putin's puppet. Trump's nobody's puppet, and that's what drives him crazy. He's not the Democrats' puppet. He's not the Republicans' puppets. He's his own man, and it drives him crazy, and it makes us love him even more. So this guy had to go ahead and appreciate that. He's like, man, he came strong, and then not only just said it, but backed it up with a phone call who knocked it all off. And he's like, you know what? When I walk away from you, I'm getting on the plane. I'm gonna make some phone calls and watch what happened. Peace still, or the ceasefire's back on. What else? What else? Give us some more compliments. Inflate our egos some more, Conehead.
Cut to The Hague, where he arrived for NATO meetings and was able to wrangle an agreement from our allies to more than double their defense spending target from 2% of gross domestic product to 5% by 2035.
Wow. He must have watched Pete Hegseth go off on the news about all of the wonderful things they miss while looking for the negativity about Trump. Maybe he's the one reporter at CNN that repented. Maybe he was pricked in his heart from the gospel of common sense and truth and decided, that's it. I ain't gonna be no prostitute no more. I'm done with prostituting myself on CNN. I want to go ahead and pull down my skirt, and cover up my cankles. Can't be out there with the skirt arched up over my thighs. I want to cover up my cankles and then put the bosoms away. I don't want to be walking around with my bosoms out no more. I'm gonna be a respectable person. So maybe he doesn't seem to like, because he's up here talking about some good stuff. Tell us more.
Also, while at NATO, in a press availability, he did something rare for Trump and I found rewarding. He showed empathy.
What? Now, see, that's because, your job is to find negativity. But I've seen Trump show empathy tons of times. Tons of times. So maybe you just now discovered
Came in an exchange with a Ukrainian journalist who said that her husband was a soldier. She asked whether the U.S. would supply her country with Patriot missiles.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Wow.
And
I can see you very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids, I'm in Warsaw actually, because he wanted me to be.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
He is.
He's there now. They do want to have the missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available. I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you. So.
But you know what he would want even more than that? For both of those two countries to stop fighting. For the little midget man, Zelensky, to finally throw in the towel and compromise. That's what he'd rather see. But he's compassionate. When you actually are talking to Trump and he feels you're sincere, he's not abrasive. He's not mean. He's totally done. That's why all the people who get in his presence and actually interact with him, they walk away and report like Bill Maher had to do. Like, he was a totally different dude. I mean, he's only a jerk to jerks. That's it. And oftentimes you can soften his heart, make him even slide a little bit on something that maybe he was hard line on, depending on how you approach him and how sincere you are and how much it touches his heart. See, so he's not just a straight cutthroat type dude, that they try to make him out to be, looking for ways to hurt people and to inflict pain upon people. No. I mean, he's constantly saying he wants people to stop dying. That's what I want. I want people to stop dying. Unless you're Baghdadi, who died like a dog. He died like a dog. But let's continue. Here we go.
Say hello to your husband, okay?
Also in that presser, he was more reflective and respectful than usual of our allies.
They want to protect their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. And I left here differently. I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff, and we're here to help them protect their country.
Yeah, and it's not a ripoff. And the people in Ukraine, I'm sure, do love their country and want to protect it, but their leader is an idiot. So regardless of wanting to protect the people and all of that stuff, he wants the people to stop dying. If that leader does not come to grips of the reality, you're only going to get so much support for that war right there, considering the way it's going. It's bottom line. I know Trump, his biggest goal and objective is to negotiate peace between those two. And Zelensky is going to end up having all of their young men killed before he finally taps out. See, so let's continue though, because this guy right here is seeming to have repented.
Back at home, Trump claimed that he's reached a trade deal with China and soon expects the same with India. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told Bloomberg that the deal was signed earlier this week. China's Commerce Ministry said Friday the two sides had further confirmed the details of the framework.
Now, see, he could have did what the other lady did. He could have started off. Trump said these deals are signed, but they're not signed yet. These prematurely saying stuff. He's just lying. He just and we don't know if it's really going to hold. And China didn't come through and say anything yet. And we don't know what India. He could have did that. That's what he could have did. But for some reason, this guy is approaching this segment as if he actually believes that Trump is succeeding and he's doing what he said he's going to do, which he is. See, you can do it. You can be okay, CNN, if you would just repent. Let's continue.
Of course, Trump's initial imposition of tariffs wreaked havoc on American markets back in the spring. But now the markets have rebounded and grown. The S&P 500, NASDAQ hit record highs just yesterday. And it's not just the stock market. Inflation, the great economic fear of recent times, seems to be tamed. The rate is now reported at 2.4%, down from a high of 7% just 4 years ago.
Man, you better watch it. Soon as he gets off the set, somebody's hand gonna come out that door like, come in here, come in here, come in here. We were looking at the ratings. We're looking at the comments. Our bubble heads are like, wait a minute, we're hearing something new. We've never heard these things before. You're telling us Trump is not an ogre, as you guys suppose? Yeah. You telling me? I sent this segment. Now, you know it's bad. When I send this segment to one of my friends who's Trump deranged, I said, now, you know it's bad when CNN is telling the truth. Yeah. I know you're not going to believe it if I sent you a Fox clip or Charlie Kirk or somebody like that. But I'm going to send you a CNN clip where they done fell out the bed and bumped their heads and actually are saying what's going on. And I'm sure, though, they're going to drag him in the office like, yeah, we're going to have to cut you loose. And we told you to try to show some balance and everything, but you went too heavy on the truth. Too heavy on the truth. Let's continue. Here we go.
Meanwhile, blue-collar workers have seen real wage growth of 1.7% in Trump's first 5 months. This is the largest such increase in nearly 3 generations. Notwithstanding its impact on our national debt, there's also hope among some that Trump's big, beautiful bill will give further financial relief to blue-collar workers, as well as create incentives to build more factories in the U.S.
What type of tomfoolery am I viewing here? What is this voodoo? I don't know how to take this. This guy's telling the truth. Yeah, you're blowing my mind, man. I don't know. Should we trust him? No, because he'll be right back to telling lies tomorrow. His next segment, after going into the office, I've changed my mind, and now all of a sudden everything that I said is not true. It's all a lie. Trump. But let's continue though, because he's acting like he actually knows what's going on here. Let's see, here we go.
Some already see this happening. For instance, General Electric has just announced that it'll invest almost $500 million in moving production of washing machines from China to Kentucky. And then there's the border. Crossings have slowed to a trickle. According to CBP's May update, Southwest border encounters have fallen to about 282 a day, a drop of 93% from last year, and the lowest since the early 1960s.
Wow.
Perhaps the loudest cheering for those border numbers is coming from America's Latino community.
What? I cannot believe this segment. I cannot believe this dude is dropping out all the positivity about this and making connections. He's even bringing in the fact that Latinos are the ones that support Trump's border, security plan. Now, I don't know what's going on. Maybe this guy's break. What happened? Who did swap him out? Take that mask off. Take that mask off. I'm sure you'll find out, Pete headset under there or something like that. I cannot be, looking at this guy. It's like if I close my eyes, I'm like, there's no way. If I open my eyes and I say, that's CNN, no way. You close your eyes, you would never think that. So now he's bringing in another connection. He actually is letting folks know that all of the Latinos running around out in LA and stuff talking about that. Don't take back out my brother and my sister and all of them. He's letting folks know that actually they're not okay with illegal immigrants either. He didn't even have to throw that nugget in. I don't even know why he did this. What is going on? The narrative is that any person of color, especially Latinos, are all saying Trump and his ICE crew walking around kidnapping us, disappearing us and stuff. But instead, what does he say? Tell us more about these Latinos.
Which might initially sound counterintuitive. On Thursday, Pew Research released an enormous data analysis of the 2024 election, which contains several surprises. High on that list, President Trump won a bigger percentage of the Latino vote than previously believed.
What?
Hillary Clinton had a 38% lead over Trump among Hispanics in 2016. Joe Biden beat Trump in this demo by 25 percentage points.
And then look what happened. When they unleashed creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe and Chameleon Harris to destroy the economy and break our border, they red pilled a whole bunch of Latino brothers and sisters. Guantanamero. Guantanamero. Come on, y'all. Yeah. Guantanamero. Yeah. Oh, man, I feel like salsa dancing right now. So that will red pill some people. I bet you that, you know what? We're not going to vote for Donald Trump. That guy is a racist or something. Like, wait a minute now. All these people coming across the border. Wait a minute. I got in line. I have to go ahead and pay my money. I have to learn things. These guys just come right across the border. Oh, no. No. Where's Trump? That'll do it. That will make them say, yeah, you red pilled us. Thanks, Democrats. You woke a whole heap of people up.
Kamala Harris's margin among these same voters over Trump, just 3 points.
3 points! Ugh. Boy, that's a big drastic change, y'all.
Even more surprising, perhaps, Pew Research concludes that if everyone had voted in 2024, contrary to the widely held belief that higher turnout helps Democrats, Trump would still have won.
Still have won? This guy's giving us information we don't even need. I mean, does it sound like he's trying to red pill CNN viewers? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? I'm concerned for this guy. That maybe somebody is standing on the side with a pistol, like, say it, read it, read it. You're not going to hurt me, are you? Yeah, I'm going to hurt you if you don't read it. Unbelievable. Let's continue. Here we go.
Data show 44% of non-voters said that they would have gone for Trump compared to 40% of non-voters who would have gone for Harris. Wow. So if more had voted, his margin would have grown.
I'm amazed at this segment. I really am. I'm amazed that he's bringing out, like, little things that I don't even hear sometime on Fox. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I really don't. I don't know what. Maybe he just lost a bet or something. He probably like you think I watch me go out there and sound like a Republican. You don't think I could do it? You don't think I could do it? I mean, what is he doing? I know he's getting hate mail from their viewers all over the place. CNN, it sucks. So now they're sucking probably on both ends. Yeah, the Democrats are saying they suck, and we definitely know they suck. So let's continue though.
Yesterday came a huge decision from the Supreme Court. The High Court declared that federal district judges exceeded their authority when issuing nationwide injunctions against Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. This will, of course, strengthen executive power both for Trump and for his successors.
Wait. Now I'm waiting for him to say, and this right here is unconstitutional. It once again shows that Trump's a dictator and the Supreme Court is in the hands of Trump, that this has been compromised, it's illegitimate. I'm waiting for that. You brought that up and that's it? No, what about that?
And finally, a Democratic socialist just won the nomination for mayor of New York City. And perhaps you're wondering, well, how does that affect Trump? It gives him the perfect foil, someone to play off in future political battles.
And you know he will. And how we all will. This guy will become the face of the Democrat Party. That guy that said that I don't believe in capitalism. There shouldn't be billionaires. That guy. And he just threw that guy under the bus. And I'm hoping that I don't know how I feel about this. On one end, I'm going, let it ride a little bit so everybody can see how crazy the Democrats are. But at the same time, not to the point where this guy actually wins. I mean, this will be devastating for our whole country. But it'll be great for us. Because see, this guy now, after winning, he's in the bubble. He's all over the place. I mean, his face is everywhere. All I see on my timeline is my Mañani or whatever his name is. And it's not in a good way. It's not in a good way. And I think the Dems know it. And I'm not surprised that these folks are throwing some negative things out there early. And if it gets too hot, if this guy right here, unfortunately brings too much negativity, I guarantee you they'll sabotage him. They are going to sabotage him big time. And this guy's unapologetic with his communism and with his socialism. Unapologetic. So, yeah, finally, this guy is acting like a good commentator, a good analyst, a political analyst. Yeah, we all know it. We all know when this dude came out. We was like, ooh, we got us a jewel, a treat. Him and AOC double dose. Put their faces right up there. There you go. And slide in Jasmine Ratchet right in the middle. Put her in the middle. These three piggies are the Democrat Party. Y'all want some of that? Y'all like that? Y'all want some more of that? Y'all want some of that AOC Bubble 1? Now you got Bubble 2, Jasmine Ratchet. And then you got the full-blown communists. Y'all want some of that? That's coming to a city or a state near you if you vote blue. And I guarantee you folks will be like, oh, they're crazy. You thought they was going to drift a little bit to the middle. No. I want that party to show just how radical and how liberal and leftist they are.
This morning's New York Post references campaign literature for Zohran Mamdani, which advocates for increased taxation for, quote, richer and whiter neighborhoods.
Yeah! Now, I'm surprised this guy didn't follow up with that. And that's right, because white people needs to be punished for the white supremacy and their white privilege. Why isn't he doing that? I don't understand. This guy must have lost a bet. I'm telling you, man, my mind is blown. My mind is blown. He's pointing out the negativities and the stupid stuff. He's actually showing the identity politics that guy has and is going to try to push and legislate. And yet CNN is the network of identity politics along with MSNBC. And yet he's calling this out. I'm baffled. I really am.
Just imagine what Trump will do with that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, look at the fingers. Yeah, Trump's going to have a field day with that. Here we go.
Winning became a punchline
Winning.
that Trump's opponents used to lampoon him in his first administration. He was a political novice then, surrounded by a team with which he was unfamiliar, and he was probably as surprised as the rest of us were that he won the election.
Now, I disagree with that. I think he wanted to win. Trump ain't going to put his hat in the, throw his hat in the race and don't want to win. But nonetheless, he was surrounded by a lot of folks he couldn't trust that were undermining him. The deep state was in full effect. He didn't know how deep the swamp was. A lot of stuff. But actually, that loss helped him. I know it hurt, set us back for 4 years or so. But boy, did it give him a chance to reorganize and put some key pieces in place. And he's a whole different president now. Unstoppable. Here we go.
this time is different. This time he came with a plan and a cabinet with senior advisors comprised of loyalists all well known to the president. And recently, he's exhibited a more layered approach to governing on both the domestic and international front, no longer solely guided by winning each day's news cycle.
What? So wait a minute. You're actually saying he is acting like a president and getting stuff done? You were supposed to say it's chaotic in the White House. Every day is a different day. We don't know what they're going to do. Trump's up in there eating hamburgers all day, and we don't know what's... That's what you were supposed to say, Mr. CNN man. I'm telling you, either he's going to get fired or I don't know what's going to... Maybe CNN said, you know what, we're down to one voter. Viewer, rather. We're down to one viewer. That's it. So we need to keep that one viewer. So what I need you to do is come out there and act like you got some sense. Maybe we can pick up one or two more. So here we go.
By any objective measure, President Trump has his opponents on the run.
Yes! His opponents on the run. Boy, I tell you, I bet you every Democrat who knows that they own CNN and MSNBC and all that probably listen like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Who approved it? Nancy? Did Nasty Pelosi approve this? No, of course I didn't approve that. I'm going to have him flogged. That's what I'm going to do. Chuck, I can't believe he's doing this to us. Unbelievable. Unbelievable segment. So CNN, if they wanted to, actually could do right. They just choose to do wrong. Oh, yeah. But I give credit where credit is due. When I listened to that clip, I listened to it actually, the CNN clip, then I typed in the bottom some words. I said, about time you talk like you got some sense. Good job. But don't get carried away. I'm sure I'll be giving you some type of criticism tomorrow when you backslide. That's what's going to happen. Guy looks like he's repentant, but I'm sure he'll backslide tomorrow. As we turn on to that, Trump's back at it again with his white supremacy and he's using Gestapo. We'll be hearing that tomorrow. But while he's giving us praise, we might as well enjoy it because even that bum right there understands that we're winning. So let's enjoy it, man. It's a celebration. Keep the party going. Yeah. Drinks for everybody. No, an alcoholic, and I'm not paying for them. I'm just letting you know. I am just saying this drinks for everybody, okay? I'm not paying for it. So anyway, so God bless y'all. God bless America. Thanks for listening to me this morning. I see Dawn did make it. Yeah, man. I thought I pulled a fast one on her, and she slid in like, oh, yeah, you thought you had me, huh? Yeah, you thought you had me. So thank you for joining in. Thanks for everybody that listened to the show. Tomorrow, it may be early. It may be my regular time. I don't know. That depends on how things go. But 4th of July is coming up, and I'm sure that I'll get some extra time somewhere here and there so we can have some more fun making light of these knuckleheads in the media and stuff like that. And don't forget on your way out to please text MAGA to that number and subscribe to my alternative channel and all of the social media platforms that I have so we can connect in other ways as well. And if you want to support the channel, you can always give to my PayPal or my, PayPal, what's the other one? PayPal and the CASHAPP. There you go. Yeah. And you can also support through giving through the super chat or just simply watching and sharing my videos. Other than that, y'all, let's get out of here, man. Time for me to start winding down to go to sleep when all of y'all are getting up and having a great time out in the sun. I know you see the ace. I know you see the way we tear up the place, yeah. See y'all next time. Kevin's Corner. Take care.